Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study. And in a prior video about a value betting hack that I gave you, Christian left this comment, and you can click at the top of the page for that video right now. But Christian said, "Sweden here. I'm so grateful for everything you helped me with in poker. In the video, you talk about a situation I would like to have help filtering in PokerTracker 4. That is, check the river and 1. I think I might lose some value there. Again, thanks, Sky. And yes, Christian, I guarantee you are missing out on value. So am I. So is Alex Fitzgerald. Your comment right here reminded me of something I learned from Alex Fitzgerald in prior course or maybe a podcast. He said, I hate it when I check back the winning hand on the river, right? It means that we did potentially missed out on some value right here. So what I want to do in this video is show Christian and the rest of you how to filter for this exact situation so that you can learn from these hands where you potentially missed out on value, with the idea that you learn why you're missing out on value so that the next time you play your sessions, you get to the river in a value spot, you're able to make the correct value bet, thereby padding your bankroll and your win rate as well. So we have my ignition database right here for the year, and I'm going to run through this filter to specifically see where you checked back the winning hand on the river. First part of the filter, player one hand. So go to more filters, hand details, win/loss, turn on player one hand, add it to filter, save and apply. Bam. So we can see so far I've won 1,700 hands, 653 big blinds per 100 hands, which means on average when I win 6.53 big blinds per winning hand. Loving that win rate right there. Next, we want to add to the filter in position on the river. So go to more filters, add filter, hand details, player position, river, in position. Just turn that one on right there. Add that to filter. Now, before we add this, you could choose to skip this part and you're going to see all hands where you won and checked river. But specifically right now, to fit along the lines of the question, but also Alex Fitzgerald's statement, I want to see where I'm in position and I check back. Save and apply. Now, this is simply in position winnings on the river. We haven't seen checked river yet, but as you can see so far, when I'm in position, my win rate when I won the hand is even better. This is on the river. It's only 181 hands because a lot of hands don't get to the river, right? Action folds pre or the flop or the turn. But this is really good. On the river when I'm winning, hey, lovely win rate right there, or in position on the river, I should say. Let's add the final part, I checked river. More filters. Add filter, actions and opportunities, river, checked river. Nice and simple. Add that to filter, save and apply filters. Actually, before we do that, I always, as I'm building filters, I recheck them just to make sure everything is exactly what I want. We're going to see hands where I won the hand, I'm in position on the river, and I checked the river. Awesome. Checking back, it's the exact situation that we're trying to analyze here. So we can see 64 times when I checked back the river. Look at how that win rate, it's still really good. Positive 819 round up, but it's not as good as that 2,100 positive win rate, that prior one. And it's because I'm missing out on potentially a lot of river value right here. So the big thing you want to do, anytime you're considering a river value bet, the question you have to ask yourself is, can he call with worse? If you can name a few hands that are worse than yours that he can call with, that he's not folding on this board, you did miss out on value. The goal, as you review these hands, you want to find bets missed, whether it's a flop, a turn, or a river bet, and then value missed. Maybe you could have made the sizing bigger on a prior street or on the river. This is all checking on the river, but on a prior street, I could have been betting half pot here, but my opponent might have called 2/3 and 3/4 pot, potentially, but the only way you're going to find the bets missed or value missed is by going through and reviewing the hands. So let's review these 3 hands. See if we can't find any missed value or missed betting opportunities. Opening queen jack, nitty, big blind, calling, second pair, plus a gut shot. Like the value bet here, there's tons of stuff that's giving us value. Flush draws, gut shots, maybe even for one street, a 9x or a jack X, weaker than our queen kicker, right? Those could potentially call right here. I also like this bet because it's kind of a pot controlling bet. We bet 3 big blinds, just half pot. When he checks the turn, we can check behind to see that free river should we decide to do so. Calls right there. Another king hits. He checks. Now, I do like my check behind right here. I'm potentially getting him to call something on the river with a weaker hand. But if he has a king right now, he's going to be check raising. That's what he wants to do. And on that second king, because if he just has a weak flush draw, he might be able to fold on the second king, thinking that he's already dead to trip. So I'm fine with this check back right here. But on the river, we get a 10. We river our straight. He checks, and then we check behind. Now, before we see his hand, I think he could give us value with any king X hand, right? Ace king is probably the one. King 8 suited, I guess, maybe. King 7 suited could have called pre-flop. But if those were planning on check raising, he's definitely calling this river right now. Check calling on that 4 straight. Also, maybe an ace 10 that rivered a pair, or an ace jack that just didn't want to give up on the flop. Those are potentially giving me value too. So I think I miss out on value at least 3 or 4 big blinds. I could have bet small to get called by under pairs right here. I don't think I'd want to bet a full half pot. And he ended up having ace 8, so he probably would have called on the turn. Results-oriented wise, we missed out on value on the turn because he did have that nut flush draw, even though the board was paired. But it's possible he could have folded 6-7 of clubs right here on the turn. So I'm fine with the way I play that hand, other than missing out on a small river value bet. So we got pocket jacks right here. Open raise, big blind, chooses to call. Flop in the under pair. Let's see here. He checks, we check behind. I like this check behind because I think he's folding all worse hands. I guess he has like a open ender with 5-6, which he could call, but really there's not much. My guess is on an ace high board, I have position. A 7 or 4 would probably fold right here. I don't know too much about the player other than he does look a little fishy in general. 0 raising first in, 2 out of 3 calling a pre-flop 2-bet, 33/0. Maybe he's a fishy player. So maybe I did miss out on value right here from some gut shots. Maybe even 7-8, 7-9 could call right now. Yeah, so I'm going to reassess that. I don't like the check back on the flop. I missed out on value from this fishy player. Now the queen hits on the turn. He checks, and now we decide to bet. Now, I think this is a good time to finally come out and bet because the 7 could potentially call if he doesn't think we have a queen, but now there's flush draws possible. Those gut shots, even the open ender 5-6, that's still there too. So I like the value bet, and I like how it's just half pot. It's also kind of a controlling bet once again. If I bet here and then he checks on the river, depending on that river card, I could easily just check behind. Even if he like rivers a flush and he plans on check raising me, I can check behind if it's a scary river card. Now the ace comes, he checks. I think this is a good check behind. I don't see a reason to value bet this river. What can call me? Now suddenly the ace paired. There's 3 to the flush out there. No straight got there, but if he did have 5-6 for an open ender, he's not going to be calling me. An ace is definitely going to call or check raise. Any flush is going to call or check raise. I really don't think I'm getting value out of anything. I like that check behind. 5-3 for flopped gutter. Calling on the turn. Yeah, so he is a very fishy player. I did miss out on flop value given that he called on that turn with just a 5-3 right there. Yep. All right, so missing out on value once again. Ace king, let's see what happens. Get a call from the big blind. Top pair, top kicker, chicken board. He checks. We bet. I love this bet right here. There are so many hands that can give us value. Any flush draw, a weaker king, 10 jack for an open ender could give us value right here. I love that. And it's a scary board, and the fact that he called means that he hit something, potentially hit something right here. Not many players just stick around with a random ace-high hand or 6-7 suited that's not hearts, So he hit something. The 5 hits on the turn. I think we can get value out of all that same range on the prior street. Now, looking at the sizing, this is where I think I missed out on value. He wasn't scared on the scary board, called half pot. The 5 comes. It's not an additional scare card. If he wasn't scared on the flop, he's not scared on the turn. I bet you I could have made this 7, 8, maybe even 9, 3/4 pot or so, 9 big blinds. So I'm definitely missing out on value right here. And then he ends up calling. Okay, the 9 hits on the river, check. And I check behind. Man, I think this really is any random king I'm ahead of. Maybe even a rivered 9. Let's imagine he had 10-9 for a gut shot. 10-9 of hearts, Jack-9 of hearts for a gut shot on the flop and turn where he called. He rivers a pair. Maybe he's going to make a crying call, hoping he's ahead of whatever we have. So let's say there's some 9s in his calling range as well. Maybe even pocket 10s or jacks that didn't want a 3-bet pre-flop could make this call right here. So there's plenty of stuff I'm getting value from. I think I missed out on a value bet. Now, seeing his hand, yeah, he probably wouldn't have called anything because he missed his nut flush and his straight flush, his royal flush. He missed that as well. But really, thinking about his whole range that could have gotten here, yeah, we missed out on value on this river. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. The action step that you need to do is run these filters for yourself and review somewhere between 10 and 30 hands. Find out how many value bets you missed, how many times you bet just too small and you could have squeaked out more value like I could have done on the turn in this hand. And I hope you improve your value betting, especially on the river. See you next time.